let's move on to the next question. Now, explain in terms of molecules why it is possible to compress a gas but not a liquid. It is easier to compress a gas but not a liquid, as in a gas, the molecules are comparatively much farther apart, and as a consequence of the molecules being much farther apart, they also have lesser strength of or lesser magnitude of intermolecular forces. As a consequence of this, it is easier to compress or bring the molecules closer in a gas than it is in a liquid. Two containers made of insulating material contain the same volume of water at room temperature. The containers do not have lids. The volume of liquid in each container gradually decreases. After a certain time, the temperature of the water has decreased to below the room temperature. Explain in terms of molecules why the temperature has decreased. The temperature has decreased because the water molecules which have a greater energy move faster, or in other words, they evaporate. And since they evaporate, the water molecules which are slower or have a lesser energy, they remain. As a consequence of this, the temperature will decrease. Moving on to the next part. One of the containers is wide and shallow. The other container is narrow and deep. Predict whether which container has a greater rate of cooling. The container which is wide and shallow, has a greater surface area, or greater surface area, and this greater surface area allows for a greater rate of evaporation, a greater rate of evaporation when compared to the container which is narrow and deep, which has a smaller surface area. As a consequence of this, the rate of cooling is much greater with the container which has a wide and shallow surface area.